You're listening to the Mad Fictional Imagination Playhouse audio presentation of Happy Valley Reapers by Ryan Scorpio Reese.
Chapter 8. The Watchful Eyes. Happy Valley had always been a place of false promises. Its manicured lawns, picturesque streets, and cheerful townsfolk gave the illusion of tranquility. But now, to the Reapers, the town's idyllic facade felt like a cruel mask, concealing something sinister beneath. It was everywhere. The prickle of unseen eyes, the weight of an invisible presence pressing against their every move. The transformation was subtle at first. A shopkeeper's lingering stare, the too casual way a stranger asked about their plans, the flicker of motion at the edge of their vision. But as the days passed, the Reapers were no longer certain if the danger was imagined or real. Their usual meeting spots, once sanctuaries of camaraderie and rebellion, now felt exposed. Trigby's basement, which had always been a fortress of solitude, was abandoned when they noticed a car idling too long outside his house. The diner, where they had once crowded into a corner booth with milkshakes and fries, now felt suffocating under the eyes of patrons who had never cared about them before. Even the abandoned factory, their refuge for late-night planning sessions, had grown eerily silent, too silent. One afternoon, an uneasy feeling steered Juju away from Trigby's neighbourhood and the convenience store down the street. Instead, she found herself at the grocery store across town, gathering supplies for her project. The moment she stepped inside, something felt off. The usual buzz of shoppers had diminished to an eerie hush, as if the whole store was holding its breath. She'd barely started shopping when a woman collided with her, sending items tumbling from her basket. "Oh, excuse me," the woman's voice dripped with false sweetness, sharp as a blade beneath the sugar coating. Juju stammered an apology, but the woman's eyes locked onto her with an intensity that made her blood run cold. This wasn't just a clumsy shopper. There was accusation written in every line of her face. Whispers followed Juju down each aisle. Fragments of conversations floated around her, all centered on the Reapers. She caught distorted versions of their recent exploits, the Vesperwaite mansion incident, their search for Ethan. These weren't idle gossip. Each retelling carried a thread of darkness, of mounting fear that seemed to thicken the air itself. The checkout felt like an interrogation. The cashier's movements were calculated, almost predatory, her gaze never wavering from Juju's face as she dragged out each scan. When the total flashed on the screen, impossibly obviously inflated, Juju's protest was met with nothing but a razor-thin smile and an icy nod. The message was clear. This wasn't a simple pricing error. "Do you feel it?" Moz asked later that evening, his voice low as they gathered in the dim light of a forgotten park pavilion. The question was rhetorical. The answer was written on their faces. Juju perched on a picnic table, crossed her arms tightly over her chest. "Of course we feel it. I haven't walked anywhere without looking over my shoulder for days." "I think we're being followed," Squirt said, his voice barely above a whisper. He was crouched near the edge of the pavilion, his eyes scanning the shadows. "Twice today I saw the same black sedan. It was parked near the library and then again outside my house." Punky snorted softly, though her usual bravado lacked its bite. "And I thought I was paranoid. Maybe you're just seeing things." "No, he's not," Trigby cut in, his tone sharp. "I saw it too, near the school. It's not just coincidence." The group fell silent, the weight of his words pressing down on them. The feeling of being watched wasn't paranoia. It was real. "We've kicked a hornet's nest," Juju muttered, running a hand through her hair. "And now they're watching to see how much we know." Trigby nodded, his mind racing. "We've uncovered enough to make them nervous, but we're still in the dark about what they're willing to do to protect their secrets." "Let's not wait to find out," Moz said. His tone was steady, but the tension in his shoulders betrayed his unease. "We need to stay ahead of them. If they know what we're doing, we need to change how we're doing it." Juju scoffed. "And how do you suggest we do that, genius? They've got resources, money, power, connections. We've got—" She gestured around the group. "Us. And that's enough, Moz said firmly. We're not playing by their rules. That's our advantage. For once, Punky didn't chime in with a reckless suggestion or a snarky remark. Instead, she leaned against a support beam, her gaze distant. You know what's weird, she said after a moment. It's not just the people, the town feels different too. Like… She hesitated, searching for the right words. Like it's alive. And it doesn't like us. Squirt shivered. I know what you mean. It's like the air's heavier, the shadows are darker, even the trees look wrong somehow. Trigby leaned forward, his elbows on his knees. It's not just the town, he said. It's us. We're different now. We're not just kids poking around for fun anymore. This… He gestured vaguely, encompassing their investigation. The danger, the town itself. This is real, and if we're not careful, it's going to chew us up and spit us out. The gravity of his words settled over them like a shroud. So what do we do? Juju asked finally. Her voice was steady, but her eyes betrayed her fear. Trigby straightened. We stay smart. We don't split up. We don't talk about this where anyone could overhear. And we don't trust anyone, not even people we think we know. And if someone comes after us? Moz asked, his jaw tightening. We make sure we're ready, Trigby said, his voice hard. We don't let them catch us off guard. The group nodded in unspoken agreement, their usual banter replaced by a somber determination. The Reapers had always been misfits, outsiders, rebels without a cause, but now they had a purpose, a dangerous, terrifying purpose, and they weren't going to back down. As they dispersed into the night, each of them took a different path, slipping into the shadows like ghosts. The streets of Happy Valley stretched out before them, quiet and deceptively peaceful. But the Reapers knew better. They weren't alone. Somewhere, hidden in the darkness, something, or someone, was watching.
You've been listening to the Mad Fictional Imagination Playhouse audio presentation of Happy Valley Reapers by Ryan Scorpio Reese. If you've enjoyed yourself, consider hitting like and subscribe, and ring the notification bell to be alerted to new video and audio content when they drop. Also, if you would be so kind as to leave us a comment, we would greatly appreciate it. We need to let the algorithm know that this channel exists. Thanks for listening. Ciao, till next now.